Coming up next on Linebaugh Library. Linebaugh and Murfreesboro City Schools have a great program making it easier for students to return books. Plus, we'll meet Stevie, who can't wait for you to read to her. And a very popular gardening program returns in February. Our local library has so much happening, and we're excited to tell you about it. First, we want to continue our look at the origins of Linebaugh. When we last spoke, Linebaugh was settling into their new building as well as branching out throughout the county. Today, we pick up from there as we check out our Linebaugh Rewind.
As the 1960s were drawing to a close, Linebaugh Library was once again growing by leaps and bounds. The main branch began plans for expanding their existing site. In April of 1969, the board sold over 2 acres of land on Mercury Boulevard for $75,000 in order to help fund a new addition to the West College Street Library. Bernie Lee Tucker Jr., who had overseen the renovations of the West College location from a post office to a library, was again in charge of designing the new addition. In April of 1971, the new 5,000 square foot addition was opened. Over in Smyrna, that library was also experiencing a lot of growth and usage. Discussions for a new site were held with the Smyrna City Council in the mid-60s, and in April of 1968, Mayor Sam Ridley would announce a plan to build a new library on 302 Walnut Street, very close to several schools, including the high school. The design of the new library was considered ultra-modern. An open floor plan, unique drop lighting, and floor-length windows were just some of the features. In April of 1970, an open house was held to unveil this very important addition to the Smyrna community. More changes were coming as the 70s got underway, and more on that in the next episode.
Did you know students with Murfreesboro City Schools could check out a book at Linebaugh and return it from their schools? It's a great program making it easier for kids to return books. We spoke to branch librarian Carol Gaddis and members of Murfreesboro City Schools on the book drop program as we hear a word from our branches.
For about 3 years now, we have had this partnership trying to find a way to expand the reading opportunities and resources for the city schools. Rita Shacklett, our director, partnered with Linda Gilbert at the time for the city schools and came up with this great way to use the Murfreesboro City Schools Pony, or we call it the transit system that they have.
The librarians offer the opportunity for students to receive a library card. They do that in September. Once they have received the application back from the students, that is given to the Linebaugh Library. Students are able to go online, check out a book, and it is actually delivered to the school on a daily basis. And then it is also picked up from the schools and delivered back to the Linebaugh Library through our courier.
The response to the program has been overwhelmingly positive, not only for students, but for parents and teachers as well.
It's been amazing. We signed up probably the first year over 10,000 library card students, and parents also signed up because the parents can do the same and their children can bring their books home through the school as well. Or teachers, a lot of our teachers are using that pony system to be able to get their books that they like to read through the local media specialist at their library.
Parents are just amazed by the opportunity to be able for their students to receive books very easily. So we have, this has been going on for several years now, and we've just had great responses. Our librarians are a little competitive, so they do strive to make sure 100% of their students have a library card, and that families as well. They offer it to the parents.
Black Fox Elementary is just one of the schools that understands how important the partnership with Linebaugh is.
I think it's important for Linebaugh Library to partner with Murfreesboro City Schools and Black Fox Elementary, because we know the more books that we can get into students' hands, into staff members' hands, that's how we're really going to impact not only learning in the school, learning at home, but also hopefully creating lifelong readers in our students and staff members.
The Book Drop Initiative is another important facet into City Schools' mission in helping children.
The mission of Murfreesboro City School is the belief in the whole child. We want to make sure that the resources we have in our community are extended to all of our students and families, and we believe that by putting books in their hands, with the book you can go anywhere.
Streville adds how valuable the Book Drop program is to her and her school in the way it is promoting literacy.
This is important to me because we know how important literacy is for students, for learning, for life. Through this program, we have the opportunity to get more books, more materials in the hands of our students, which is going to, again, impact the learning, is going to hopefully create that love for learning through reading in our students.
This book drop program is important because it promotes reading and lifelong readers.
Have you ever read to your dog? You'd be surprised how much they like it. Take Stevie, for example. Well, who's Stevie, you may ask? Watch this next feature from the Youth Services Department as we bring the fun. Linebaugh is going to the dogs, and kids are loving it. Meet Stevie. Kids have the chance once a month to read their favorite books to this four-legged superstar.
Stevie is a 3-year-old golden retriever. She is actually a high-level performance dog, so she's already won national competitions in obedience and rally, and she's just an awesome dog. She loves doing therapy work. She goes to assisted livings, and as you've seen, she just loves having the kids read to her.
The READ program takes place in schools, libraries, and healthcare facilities, among others, and has had a big impact across the country and around the world.
This started probably about 10-15 years ago, and it started out in Utah with somebody who had their dog and brought it to a school to help children read. And from there, they realized what a tremendous asset it was and how well it worked, and it grew from there. We now are in all 50 states. We have about 600 teams, and we're in over 40 countries now with Reading Paw teams. Linebaugh actually contacted Intermountain Therapy Animals, which is the organization that supports me and sponsors me, and they contacted them looking for a Reading Paws team, and we were local to the area, so we raised our hand and said, yeah, this is going to be great.
And the reaction from kids that read to Stevie?
They love it. We get some children who are in the beginning are a little bit nervous, and you can just see them blossom, and all of a sudden they just start reading really, with confidence, and they just love, being able to pet her while they read. It's wonderful to see.
So make plans to take your child and their favorite books to Linebaugh to read to Stevie.
Stevie is here the first Monday of every month from 3:30 to 5:30, and the children can pick books from the library and bring them in and read to Stevie.
Do you have a collection you'd like to display to the public? Well, Linebaugh may be the best place for that showcase. Linebaugh has a number of displays available to book, and we find out more about them in a segment we call Staff Stuff.
Well, our display cases are all over the library. We have 7 total display cases. We have 2 larger ones upstairs that might be able to hold something the size of like a suit of armor or a dress mannequin, large quilts, larger pieces of artwork, things like that. Then we have the 3 biggest popular ones, or most popular ones, in the foyer. And they're about 5 feet tall and about 3 feet wide. And they'll hold multiple works, and you can come in the lobby and just see those for yourself. And then we have the 2 smaller showcases, like what you'd see at a jewelry store, that you can put a smaller display in. It'd be ideal for smaller items. And we're looking for people's esoteric or wacky collections of things, provided they're family friendly. Original works of art would be appreciated, album covers, antique kitchen utensils, toys. We'll take just about anything. We get between 1,000 and 3,000 people a day through here who would have a chance to see stuff like that. So we think it'd be good exposure for an artist who's trying to get their name out there, or just for anything that people don't normally get to take a look at. The whole point of the case is to provide a feast for the eyes on the way into the library, and then as a secondary purpose to build that sense of community in Murfreesboro by letting people see what Murfreesboroans have got hidden that they don't usually bring out.
Crowell adds that patrons and visitors will have a month to view each collection.
So the time of display would be 1 month from the time that we get things in, and we'd like to do those at the beginning of every month and then have people move them out just before the end so that we can get the next install in there. For more information or to book space in one of the display cases, please call me, Garrett Crowell, I'm the circulation supervisor at Linebaugh Library, or Lisa Robert, she's also one of the people who works in circulation, at 615-893-4131, and I'm extension 134.
Last year, a Master Gardeners group was launched as a test, and it was a big hit with patrons. So it relaunches in February, and we find out a little more about it. What are we waiting for? Let's go clubbin'.
So the Master Gardeners are teaching a series of Saturday morning classes. They all begin at 9 a.m. and they are here in the Linebaugh Library upstairs in the boardroom. And so they'll be teaching classes all about where to start, so garden planning and prep, as well as soils, pollinators, where to plant, so the sun versus the shade, and all about herbs and perennials and annuals, so anything you need to know to have a successful garden.
The program equips future master gardeners to one day spread the word about horticulture and its benefits to their respective communities.
Master gardeners are volunteers, and they are trained across the state and across the nation by extension offices. So here in Tennessee, they are trained out of the UT TSU extension offices, and what they do is just share horticulture information with their community.
Our primary goal is to promote home gardening and to educate people so they can do the home gardening. Personally, I grew up with my mom gardening. My husband and I gardened. When I was still working, I took the garden basics class, and then when I retired, I took the big step and became a master gardener, and I'm now in my 7th year of master gardening. I love it.
The program can get anyone on the right track when it comes to gardening, and Stevens is quick to dispel the myths of green thumbs and black thumbs.
First of all, there's no such thing as a green thumb, there's no such thing as a black thumb or a brown thumb. It's like how you understand your children or your dog or your cat. You get to know them. The same thing with plants.
Everyone has to start somewhere. I know with my first garden it was a disaster, and I planted way too many things and I didn't have time to take care of it. And so the Master Gardeners, one of their mottos is to be proud of the garden that you have, and maybe that needs to be small to start. And so I really believe in learning first before you get started. So go figure out, what you're supposed to be doing. And so the Master Gardeners have years and years of experience between them all.
Stevens adds, this class is very important because gardening can offer so much to one's well-being.
The Master Gardener class is important. Gardening is important for people. It gets you outside, it gets you fresh air, it gets you sunshine, it gets you exercise. You can admire and appreciate, take pride in growing beautiful flowers, growing wonderful vegetables.
So if you're new to gardening or you don't know where to start, the best thing to do is go find information from those that do know something about it. And so reach out to the Master Gardeners. They're offering a free class at the Murfreesboro Linebaugh Library for the first Saturday of the month from February through November. And all the classes begin at 9 a.m. For more information, look on our website again, rutherford.tennessee.edu, or call the library and ask them about their schedule. The brochure is at the front desk, so just call the front circulation desk and ask for their schedule. It's also on Facebook, so you can look up Master Gardeners of Rutherford County, TN, and you'll find all of the classes there listed under events.
There's a lot happening at Linebaugh in the next several months. Here are just some of the big events coming up. The Nashville Ballet will be visiting the Linebaugh Library on February 6th from 10 to 11 a.m. for story time and the book Little Cloud. We've mentioned about the Master Gardener series starting in February, but be sure to also check out the Master Food volunteer classes on February 9th and March 9th from 10 a.m. to noon. The Litwits book group invites the public to hear from special guest, author Michael Bishop, on his book, A Murder in Music City. The event is on March 28th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. A reminder, the library will be closed February 18th for President's Day and April 21st for Easter. Before we go, congratulations to our friend Mindy Barrett on being promoted to branch librarian of the Myrtle Glenton Lord Library. Barrett and Laura Loggins were a great team in the Youth Services Department. With Barrett's move to the MGL Library, Loggins will take over as the new Youth Service Specialist. Also, we've mentioned in previous shows about the renovations at Linebaugh. Well, the library finally had a chance to celebrate with a special open house recently. It was a big turnout, and everyone loves the look of this great library. So that's going to wrap it up for this show. As you've seen, there's a lot to do at Linebaugh, and we haven't come close to telling you about everything else that's happening here. You can always go to their website, rclstn.org, to find out about upcoming events, classes, clubs, groups, and more. Or you can stop at one of the 4 major locations, the main branch on West Vine Street, the Myrtle Glenton Lord Library inside Patterson Park, and branches in Eagleville and Smyrna. Also be on the lookout for the library's bookmobile. Plus, if you're in need of computer access, visit the Technology Engagement Center located on Minerva Drive. If you haven't been to any of our library locations, you're missing out. From books to DVDs to activities to so much more. Take the time to visit your local library. Thanks for watching.